Well, hello world, welcome to Raccoon Point Studios. I'm Sean Bombs, and today we're taking a look at the Eventide H90. I got it in about a week ago, and I have it for like 3 more weeks because me and my wife found a place to rent pedals from. We were thinking about it, like, is there a place? I mean, there's camera rentals and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe there'll be pedal rentals. So we found this one place, and they send it to you, and it's called Buy or Borrow Music, and I'm not affiliated with it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is what we did because this pedal is $900 brand new, and we don't get sent anything, you know what I mean? We're not a big channel like that. So boom, you can sign up as a membership, keep the gear as long as you like, and what if you fall in love? Then you can buy it. So let's see, they have different ways you can rent, and I don't know which one we did, but I think we have the 30-day. I know we have it for 30 days and then we swap it out for something else. I just wanted to put that out there for anybody who looks at stuff that's quite expensive and, you know, you want to try it but you don't want to buy it and then have to send it back or, you know, sell it on Reverb 6 months later because, you know, you thought it was awesome and blah, 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 blah. But it's cool because you can try these things out for a month and then decide if you want to buy it. And maybe you buy it from them. Maybe you say, hey, I'll keep that in the back of my mind for later. So back to the Eventide H90. This thing is amazing. I have the H9. Love that pedal. Took me a while to actually love it because I like to have access to knobs and switches and be able to just mess around with stuff on the fly, where the H9 you really need the iPad app. The H90, you can use an iPad or you can use the computer, desktop, laptop, whatever, and you can connect it via the USB-C, and then it's just a little bit more secure of a connection. We'll go over that in a minute, but this is a deep pedal, so I'm not going to be able to go everything verbatim because I'm still learning it. What I know is that we hit this perform, then you have the ability to turn on and off effects. You can turn this one to turn off all effects at once, or it could be for an insert. But yeah, you have the ability to use 2 different algorithms at the same time. With the H9 you couldn't, H90 you can, and then you can also switch the order of them with the press of a button. So you're trying out a delay into a reverb. Let me see what it sounds like the opposite, and it makes it really easy. And you can have them in parallel, or you can have them going into each other. That can make for some interesting choices. Alright, so then on the back side you have your power supply, obviously, USB-C. You have 2 separate control jacks, expression control. I guess one could be for tap tempo, one could be for your expression jack, or, you know, maybe it could be for turning on and off a tuner or something, I don't know. But then you have in and out for 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 is for your inserts. Over here you have your MIDI in, MIDI out, through, and I would highly recommend learning all that kind of stuff because you can use this with something like the Boss ES8 and change your programs with each time you change a song and you want different programs. It makes it easy because it will trigger the program change for you. So as far as the power supply, I have it up here on the screen. It looks like it's 12 volt DC at 600 milliamps or 9 volt DC at 800 milliamps, 48 kilohertz sample rate, 24-bit for the ADDA, and 32-bit float for the DSP, which is the standard. So just like the H9, you can set the input to line level, and therefore you can send signals from your DAW at the proper level. It'll receive it, and then you can use it as a hardware insert. And you could use the iPad app to change different parameters and while you're recording, or, you know, while you're mixing, or you can use an expression pedal and set things up specifically for a part of a song and just mess with it after the fact, which makes it really cool and really easy. So something that's more hands-on, which I like. So that's it for the ins and outs. I'm going to fire this thing up and we're going to take a look at the software on the desktop as well and go through some sounds. I'm going to hook up an expression pedal, fuzz pedals, and just going to go through a few sounds in stereo, and You know, if you're into that, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, stick around. We're going to get into it right now. Alright, so now I have everything hooked up and turned on, and I have the guitar going to the input of the Eventide, and then stereo out goes into the Dream 65. I have these fuzzes on insert points of the H90, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then I also have an expression pedal hooked up to expression jack number 2. And let's dive into the software so you can see. Now, I don't know everything about this software. I am so new to this whole ecosystem here. It's a lot different than the H9 software, but it's not that hard to get your head around. So what we have here is how you edit. Then you have programs, which is going to be different presets that they have already made that you can go through, and they're going, you know, factory presets, and you're going to get, you know, different modules together how they wanted it. And then you have the system over here, which is going to give you what your BPMs if you're using a tempo or a MIDI clock and all that kind of stuff. And you can change your MIDI channel, and you have just different global parameters that you can set. You can see your software version and all that fun stuff. So you also have different settings here that you can change for your input, and you can make them either instrument or line right here, and then same thing with your output. So that's going to make it very useful if you're using it as a hardware insert with your DAW, or if you're using it with like a keyboard, a synthesizer, or whatnot. And then you have external control. So I guess this gives you different ways of how you can use your controllers. So not something that I have looked into just yet, but just to show you that that's where it's at. All right. So then, like I said, this is programs, so you can just go right through this stuff and load a program up and put it wherever you want. And then back to edit. So this is your first module here, and that right now I have a poly synth algorithm, and then I have the mod echo verb algorithm. And if I want to switch the order, I can easily hit this button, and now they're reversed. Okay, so that's very handy, especially if you're doing delays in the reverbs, and or, you know, modulation after delay or before delay. You can get very creative with that and quickly. So that's awesome. And then over here you have your routing. So this is for your inserts, but this is also how you might route these modules. So you can have them in series, or you can have them in parallel. You can have your inserts in stereo or mono, and then you can change the order of where you put your insert. So you can have it off, obviously, and before both effects, parallel with both effects, in the middle of each effect, and then after all effects. So that's very handy, and I think that's pretty much the way everybody's doing it now. So they know us guitar players are getting a lot more advanced in the way we route things and how we like things, so it's really good to see. So let's see, what else? Then you have your controller assignments. So like I said, I'm still new to all this, so I'm not quite sure exactly how all this quick knob stuff works. I guess this is these are for these little knobs, so if you want to adjust certain things quickly without the software, I guess you can set certain things up for that. And I'm not sure if that's global or per preset. Let's see. And then here is your preset library, and this is where you can start from scratch. And you can just, boom, you have your effect type, so that can make it a lot easier to find exactly what you're looking for. I want something that does octaves. I want something that does, you know, like a whammy type of thing. Boom, I'm there. And same thing, reverb, I just want one of the reverbs. Boom, I click it, and then it narrows things down for me. All right, so you can see here on the screen, it has a lot of different effects. Basically, it's like a plugin manager, okay? So that is that, and now we're gonna go back to parameters and we're gonna start messing with the sound. So for this example, I have a delay and a reverb in parallel, so the delay is not gonna get washed out by the reverb or vice versa. They're both going on at the same time and in separate entities, basically. I also have this programmed so it will turn on both effects at the same time. And here you go. And then I also have the expression pedal messing with the mix knob and the mod depth on the black hole. So you'll see that move on the screen. Alright, so now I want you to just hear the difference when I change this up. So right now, again, just for... Alright, so you hear the attack of the delay sound. It's still, you hear the ch-ch-ch-ch, right? So now when I put it in series, it should wash out a little bit going into that reverb. And then in series again. And then now we can see what's that sound like if the reverb's going first. Boom. So that's awesome because, you know, you're able to have high-end effects and switch them in this pedal, and you're getting something similar to putting two pedals back to back with each other. But you have this ability to do it very quick. And then the band delay is cool because it's going left and right like that. The black hole is swishing around. And, you know, depending on what you're going for, you're able to get some crazy atmosphere going. So now I'm going to put the fuzz pedals on, and we're going to mess around with the order of that. And this just makes everything fun. What I'm going to do is change this controller here, right here. This is the foot switch button for this. And I'm going to make it turn on the insert. And that way I can now turn on and off the fuzz. So what we're going to do is change this. And before I do that, I'll turn it off so we don't hear it. So we're going to start with the fuzzes going before the effect. Alright, so that's pretty cool. What happens if we make these parallel? And turn this back on to pre. Alright, so now I'm going to put these back into series, and we are going to switch them to where they were when we started, and I'm going to put the fuzz in parallel. So now we're going to hear a clean sound with a washed out effect mixed in with the fuzz, no effect on it at the same time. Alright, so now I'm going to keep it like that, but I'm going to make the effect of the clean sound wet. So it'll be this atmospheric thing going on behind the fuzzes, hopefully. So now you see I can turn up the effect, the fuzzes, by the return level here. That way they'll be louder than the clean sound, because that was a little wonky sounding to me. This might be a little loud. Alright, so now I'm going to turn that back to 0, or wherever it was. Where was it? 0. There we go. Where are you at? There we go. Obviously, that makes it incredibly powerful. Now I'm going to change this to be in the middle of the effects. So that means the delay is going in to the fuzzes, but the fuzz is going before the reverb. And then let's see what happens. Can I switch this? Now that it's in the middle, now I have it the opposite. The reverb's going into the fuzz, but the delay is after the fuzz. So let's see what that does. Alright, and this one I didn't have it on tails spillover, so you heard when I turned the reverb or the delay off, it just cut off. So incredibly powerful unit. I am only embarking on the beginnings of this whole thing. I just wanted to show you how it works basically, but I will be putting out another video with more sounds, something more sound oriented, and yeah, just to show you all the different sounds you can get with it, because this thing is just incredibly powerful. And you know, that's just a few of the things I was messing around with so far. If you enjoyed this, hit the like so other people see it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to stay notified, because on this channel we subscribe to this channel. What? Because on this channel we like to experiment with stuff, and I do like guitar pedals, pro audio stuff. I'm gonna be going through this you know, this whole studio thing and doing different things that have to do with music production basically, and video work. So if you're into that, subscribe. See you later. Bye bye.